a MacVoices briefing on the OWC Drive Dock. This is MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is a MacVoices briefing on the OWC Drive Dock. If you have the need for a large amount of storage that doesn't have to be online at all times, whether that's for backup, archiving, or some other purpose, then you need to take a good hard look at the OWC Drive Dock. The OWC Drive Dock is a dual drive device that accepts 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch or SSD drives with a SATA interface, one in each slot. Each slot is independent of the other, so you can mix and match both the sizes and capacities and use either one slot, the other, or both. The controls are simple. There's a master power switch on the back of the unit and individual power buttons on the top, one for each slot. Backlit activity lights for slot 1 and slot 2 either show dark if the power to that slot is off, blue if the power is on and a drive is mounted in the slot, or red if the power is on but the slot is empty. Drive access is indicated by blinking red and blue as reads or writes occur. One very nice feature is that the power supply is internal, eliminating yet another power brick from living under your desk, as well as giving the dock a weighted, solid feel for inserting and removing drives. Connectivity is through a USB 3.2 USB-C connection to your computer. On the Mac, each drive mounts as a separate volume or volumes if that's how they're formatted. Hot swapping is supported, so you don't have to turn off the device or the power to the drive, but you should definitely eject the drive in the OS before physically removing the drive from the dock. Insertion or removal is simple. Orient the bare drive so that it will fit into the slot. While a drive can be inserted improperly, it's obvious that the drive is not seated. It won't make the SATA connection and therefore won't mount. While it's difficult to articulate, you can feel the drive seat, so there is no real doubt that you have successfully placed it. Using the drive or drives is simple, since they act just like any other attached drive. You can read or write to each of them independently, and even copy from one to the other, all within the OS. No special utilities or programs needed. The OWC Drive Dock boasts speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second through USB 3.2. While you could run an OS off of this if you were using an SSD, I wouldn't recommend it. Think of a drive or drives mounted from the Drive Dock as just normal external drives. The big benefit here is that you can swap those drives in and out of the Drive Dock, so each drive becomes a big block of temporary storage space. Temporary in the sense that it isn't online all the time. This is an ideal solution for expanding your storage because you're spending money only on the bare drives themselves, not the expensive cases or interfaces for each drive. The trade-off is that the data on those drives isn't online at all times and instantly available, but it can be if you need it by simply slotting the drive. Some ideal use cases are backups, archiving, offline storage to protect against hacking or ransomware, easy distribution of large amounts of data, assuming the other party has a Drive Dock, multiple copies of large data libraries, and more. On a personal note, when Drobo went out of business, I was left with a need for an affordable long-term storage solution, as well as a whole lot of bare drives that used to live in various Drobos. The OWC Drive Dock has given me the option to store data that I don't need on an immediate basis, and also to put all of those bare drives back into use. If you have a need for any of the use cases mentioned, or have something else in mind, the OWC Drive Dock is an excellent option. 2 last tips for using and protecting bare drives. When naming them, I usually use the nomenclature of what they are, such as MacVoices Archives or Music Library Backup, followed by the date and the time. That way there's no question about what is on them or when they were created or updated. If you're doing a multiple drive set, adding the time in helps to assure you know which one came first and which one came second. Sure, you can use 1s and 2s, but the time even makes it more precise and somewhat automatic. The second tip is storing those bare drives. Please don't use the packaging the bare drive arrived in. It provides no protection. This is, after all, your data we're talking about. Whether it's a month or a year later, you want that data to be there for you. Spend just a couple extra dollars and invest in a decent storage case. I like the Initech 3.5-inch cases. They're not expensive, have just a little bit of padding inside, and are anti-static. If you have 2.5-inch drives in the mix, consider the also great Orico hard drive cases. They come with a removable tray that holds 4 2.5-inch drives in one case, or the tray can be removed to hold one 3.5-inch drive. The OWC Drive Dock retails for $99 and can be ordered from Otherworld Computing at OWC.com or on Amazon. The Initech cases are priced at $19.99 for 6, and the Orico cases retail for $25.99. Both can be purchased at Amazon. Links are in the show notes. With the OWC Drive Dock, the bare drives of your choice as far as capacity and manufacturer go, and the protective cases, you have an almost unlimited amount of storage available to back up and protect your photos, videos, important documents, whatever it is that you want to store. That's the MacVoices briefing on the OWC Drive Dock. I hope you take advantage of it because it's been a great solution for me. I'm Chuck Joyner, and I'll be back with more MacVoices soon. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices each month. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.